What's up out there, YouTube? This is James coming back at you with another informative video. I hope all is well with you guys out there on this beautiful warm Tuesday. All's good over here. Come across a situation right here with Alabama House Speaker Nathaniel Ledbetter calls on the Supreme Court to overturn Amendment 14. Now, I don't know if a lot of you guys are up on your amendments, but Amendment 14 basically protects the rights of so-called minorities, which we are referred to being able, to due process and all other civil rights, like voting, for example. This man right here don't want so-called black people at all to be able to vote, have a seat, at the table to say yay or nay. Basically, it comes down to redistricting voting rights, and voting maps and all that kind of stuff. That's basically what it all boils down to. I'll let you hear from his voice, and then we're going to basically read an article about the situation, and then check out a brother he's a New Orleans resident, Marshawn Kamis. Okay, he had a fiery speech, and he's in New Orleans about the same thing that this man right here, so-called lawmaker in Alabama, is actually pushing for. So without further ado, let's check that out.
Well, it certainly gives us an opportunity to look at those congressional districts again. Gives us a chance at all of them if we get some reprieve from the courts, and so we'll see how that goes, and certainly hope that the Supreme Court will overturn Amendment 14 and gives us a shot to revisit those. District 7. I think that's happened. All we need now is the courts to overturn 14, and we can look at a new election.
They're going to put you all back in chains.
Now, you guys heard him for yourself. He wants the Supreme Court to get rid of Amendment 14. Okay, now it says here, red state lawmaker triggers alarm with call to overturn 14 amendment. All right. A red state lawmaker quietly called on the Supreme Court to overturn the 14th Amendment, but plenty of people are calling out the stunning remark. Say what now? Pulitzer Prize winning journalist Kyle Whitmore wrote on X, reacting to comments from Alabama House Speaker Nathaniel Ledbetter on Friday. The GOP state speaker told local media, "I certainly hope the Supreme Court will overturn Amendment 14 as the state moves to redistrict. The 14th Amendment promises equal protection under law, as well as due process and birthright and naturalized citizenship." Ledbetter told the press that the Alabama House is still seeking more power to change their state's elections, saying all we need now is the courts to overturn 14, and we can look at the election. Okay, so you see, these people right here want to basically set us back to where we was before civil rights. Okay, take away your rights, where everything hinges on what they say. You see, they want to take all that away, and basically go back to Jim Crow. Okay, and it all starts with voting rights. That's what it all starts at. Okay, to continue here, shouldn't our elected officials know that the 14th Amendment protects equal rights and due process for all citizens? Question. The Legal Defense Fund, a civil rights organization, posted on X, including at Ledbetter. Okay, these subs stopped at nothing, and they ain't, because this is what they here to do. Okay, now it says here, Joyce Vance, former U.S. attorney for the Northern District of Alabama, noted that this is the same legislation body a court found engaged in intentional racial discrimination and drawing voting maps. Okay, see, this is a game that was all came up with in the first place for them to get ahead. And, well, they took a hit when civil rights voted, came apart to where all of us can have equal rights. They took a hit there, but see what they're trying to do. Take all that back. You see, and that's basically what it all boils down to. Let's check out what this sister has to say.
What we witnessed here today was a travesty to all people, especially minorities in the state of Alabama. What just happened, that vote that happened, signaled that black and brown folks in this state don't have a seat at the table. We're going to continue to fight. Everything that we have ever done in Alabama has been by the courts. And what they did today was a travesty to all of Alabama, especially the generations to come. It signaled that they won't have a seat at the table to choose fair representation. I want to introduce Representative Bracy.
Thank you.
No, we're going to begin.
Damn well better believe that what we just seen with this sub right here is trying to do is a travesty. They don't care about that though, because their ultimate goal is to dominate. And this is what it all boils down to. Now, basically, I'm going to tell you, I don't really care anything about politics. I really don't, because Republican versus Democrat, it's the same wing of the same vulture. Okay? Two fangs of the same snake. That's what it all boils down to. But when they start talking about things like this, taking your civil rights away and getting rid of, Amendment 14 or whatever, then I think this is something that we all need to speak up about, because let's face it, you know what I mean? Our predecessors, ancestors that is, fought and died for the rights, to basically be counted as a human being. Although I know this runs deep, it goes back to the Most High's word, and while this devil seed right here is trying to take your rights. But look, they are on their last leg, okay? And that's basically what all boils down to. They are on their last leg, and they'll do anything to try to stay on top. But they going down. The curses will be reversed. And voting is not going to do anything to save them. You know what I mean? When they come down to cheating, redistricting the maps, to vote and all that kind of stuff, trying to take away the rights from so-called black people to vote. All right. Now, let's check out this brother right here. He's a New Orleans resident, and he gave a explosive speech. His name is Marshawn Kamis. Okay, and they doing the same thing in Louisiana, or New Orleans. It's the same thing that we see here. So this thing is basically nationwide. So without further ado, let's check him out.
I have no doubt in my mind that the map's gonna pass. If y'all can give us less than 0 seats, you would do it. Y'all do this under the orders of somebody that said the Civil Rights Act was harmful to white people, that it caused reverse racism. RFK said that black children are overfilled on antidepressants and that they need to be reparented on different forms, all of them. Pete Hegseth constantly brings Doug Wilson to the Pentagon to give a prayer service. Doug Wilson is the same pastor that said that slave owners were on strong spiritual ground. I don't have no belief in no morality on anybody that followed Donald Trump. If you wasn't with this map, you wouldn't be underneath this president. You wouldn't be in your party. You would stand up, you would stand against it, you would speak out about it. So as far as I'm concerned, if you here as one of these Trump Republicans, you already showed us who you are. You showed us what you want to do. And I believe the country as a whole is rebuking your party. Y'all are in a death spot. That's why y'all have to redistrict. That's why y'all have to cheat. That's why Trump got to go to Texas and say he entitled to 5 more seats. It's because y'all know what y'all doing is abhorrent. We letting our people die in Iran based on false pretense that Tulsi Gabbard and Joe Kent said ain't real. Y'all okay with all that. So I'm positive y'all gonna be okay with the maps. But the beautiful thing is, the children that y'all have made and the people that's younger than y'all don't support none of this racism that y'all want. The MAGA party is the last breath of the Confederacy, and I'll be happy to see millennials and Gen Z bury y'all. There will be no more of your party. The midterms gonna come, y'all gonna get wiped out. Trump gonna get dragged out of the White House, and I'm gonna love every second of it. Because y'all loved every second of the suffering that he caused to everybody in this country. And worldwide, we starve in Cuba. We bomb Nigeria. We holding Zimbabwe and Zambia hostage for their minerals. We don't want to give them aid support. The pro-lifers that say all life is special, y'all letting kids die of AIDS. What part of your Bible say that? Point out the scripture. I think everybody would love to see it.
Well, now that brother just gave them an earful of dread because they know they are on their last breath. MAGA. You see, and that's what this whole thing is about, redistricting the maps about voting and trying to get rid of Amendment 14. Okay? And that's basically what it all boils down to. But look, here's the deal. It's already written in the word that Esau is going down. You're going to lose. And everything that you've done going to fall on your own head. When it's all said and done, when the Most High comes back, y'all going into slavery before you were destroyed with your maker, the devil himself. Because only the devil himself and his seed comes up with little schemes to put somebody beneath their feet. You see what I'm saying? What goes around comes around. You reap what you sow. And that's what's going to happen with you. Even if you are successful at redistricting and abolishing Amendment 14. When it's all said and done, y'all still going down. And that's just basically what it all boils down to. Ain't nothing you can do about it. That's all I got on this one, people. I want you guys to tell me what you think about this situation right here. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on it in the comment section. We know that right there. That's another little scheme that YouTube is doing behind the scenes. And believe you me, they are catching more than they can handle in their fair share of hardship. Behind the scenes, they are battling to keep their head afloat. This is the reason why you got so many people talking about, they're being demonetized. You know what I'm saying? All the little unfair things that YouTube is doing. Well, it costs money to monetize. YouTube don't have that. YouTube is battling all kinds of lawsuits year in and year out, having to fork out billions of dollars annually. You see what I'm saying? So this is the reason why they come up with all these different little tricks, you know what I'm saying, to keep your voice from being heard. You see? And that's just what it is. So like I said, see, you reap what you sow. You do wrong, wrong is what come back to you. So that's the reason why I say, if you guys can comment, I want to hear your thoughts. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. People, please remember to live your life as though we're being watched, simply because we are. This is James, and I'm out. Peace.